Welcome to today's episode of Kidstown Corner. Is it possible to brush too much? That's the question.
Right, great question. And as we know, as we've talked about in other videos, too much of anything can be a bad thing. Right. Too much sunlight. We all need some sunlight, but too much sunlight can cause problems. Too much water. You know, there was a radio program that was doing a contest, and whoever could drink the most water was going to win a trip or something, and the person actually ended up getting water poisoning and dying. So we know that too much of anything can actually be bad for us, including brushing our teeth. So how can brushing our teeth too much be bad for us?
Right, yeah, it's crazy. You sit there like, well, I mean, if I'm brushing them, I was keeping bacteria, you might be rocking it on no cavities. So that's great, but the toothbrush could still cause some other issues. And the main thing there is some erosion type things where you can get the gums starting to shrink back. They can start to, you know, get that recession, and you'll see that really on like the canines. So if you think about, okay, do I brush too much or do I brush too hard? You know, that's the other thing that can start to show up there. And one of the ways you can tell is if, you know, all your gums are starting to recede and get really high, or even just looking at your toothbrush. If you've got a pretty new toothbrush and that bad boy is like totally flared out and looking crazy within like a month, you're either brushing too much or too hard, one or the other.
Right, it can cause damage, like Dr. Brett said, to your gums. You start to get recession in your gums, and it can even start to wear places in your teeth where we've got this precious protective enamel layer around our teeth, and you know, brushing too hard can even start to wear that protective layer off of our teeth and away from our teeth, and we start to see funny grooves and funny wear spots in our teeth. So we want to make sure we're not brushing too often, usually 2 to 3 times a day of getting in there with the toothbrush and doing a good thorough job is plenty. But like Dr. Brett said, we want to make sure we're doing a thorough job, but thorough doesn't mean hard. We don't have to use a lot of force when we brush our teeth. The third thing is, look at your toothbrush when you're buying a toothbrush. You know, does it say soft, medium, or hard? For the most part, for our patients, we recommend the soft toothbrushes. We don't really see a need for our patients to have the hard bristle toothbrushes. The harder the bristle, the more likely you are to get wear to your teeth and recession to your gums.
Absolutely. So yeah, there is the possibility of too much of a good thing. Toothbrushing, good thing. But you can have too much. So 2 minutes a day, or 2 minutes a day, strike that. 2 minutes each time you brush, and then, you know, total of 4 to 6 minutes maybe a day of brushing, getting the floss in there. You know, you're gonna be doing a great job of keeping the cavities down, but don't go too crazy. Just like Dr. Ryan said, we don't want to be, you know, too much sun. What's that dude's name? That's is it Hamilton or something like that? That has always has the crazy tan and the really white teeth. That dude's probably brushing way too much. Because he's definitely got too much sun. His teeth are like toilet bowl white. He's probably got some crazy recession. I bet his toothbrushes last like 3 days. So anyways, you don't want too much toothbrushing. Do it just a perfect amount, a couple times a day, 2 to 3 times a day, 2 minutes each session, and you'll be in tip-top shape. So hopefully that answered a question that you may have never had or even thought of is there too much toothbrushing going on in my house? And where should I be? If there's any comments, if you think this would be helpful to, you know, your family member, friend, who you're like, dude, every time we go somewhere, that guy's got his toothbrush, share this video. Maybe it'll help them out, save a few teeth. All right, well, if there's any questions, put them down below. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and that's a wrap.
We're brushing our teeth.